was too little too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
He knew it was just a matter of time. Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
GC Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Introducing Tractor USA, the best way to buy and sell premium ag and construction equipment. Tractor USA was designed to be straightforward, simple, and affordable with zero commission and live auctions every week. Tractor USA auctions offer the finest selection of pre-owned tractors, combines, and other ag and construction equipment from across the United States and the world. Simply go to tractorusa.com to get started today.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time, so I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Hard to believe a track only 25 years old can hold so much history and so many crazy finishes. We saw one last night in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Lane Riggs taking the victory over Rajah Caruth. We saw it 2 years ago in the Cup Series, 5 overtimes to declare Joe Logano the winner, the win that set him towards a championship path. But we've seen crazy sim racing finishes. About 4 seasons ago, Joshua Banks stole the victory from Jeff Wright on a green-white checkered, and Jeff Wright got a victory here at Nashville to set him towards his second title in Saturday Night Racing League. And once again, it's another chapter of Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors with Matco Tools. The third race at Nashville in this series. and it's another one towards the chase in this series. Season 6 underway and almost closing in on that chase. Hello, everyone. I am Connor Horn, filling in for Bradley Cooper tonight. Doing really the dirty work of that is Alex Gagnon. He's the one producing, doing the work that actually matters, and I'm just the one who has to talk a lot. Dougie Beard providing the cameras as always. Bradley will be watching from afar, but he won't be on the broadcast tonight, Alex. This should be a pretty fun one as warm-ups closing down. We got an interesting pole sitter, an interesting field tonight. It should be a fun one.
Yeah, it really should be. This is a great racetrack, and this is a ton of fun to be out here for. Really excited to see how this one goes.
And we'll see how it goes for sure. It's going to be a fun one. Track map up on the screen. This track only opened, like we said, 25 years ago, but it's had a lot of great finishes, a lot of great racing, and a lot of history. Return to the series after we left it for about 8 years in the real world, and now we're back for the third race that Saturday Night Racing League is held here. 1.25 mile racetrack, 1.3 mile racetrack, actually, one of those rare concrete racetracks, so it's going to take heat a little bit differently. Very tough pit exit compared to the pit entry. That's something that we might note if we get green flag pit stops. Not a lot of banking in the corners. You're not going to see this track widen out too much, so the action's going to be pretty tight. You're really going to be close door to door with drivers around you, so that could provide some yellows. We haven't really had a lot of yellows in past races here, but you just never know what might happen.
No, you really don't, but this is a place where things can get out of hand in a hurry if you're not careful. The concrete, always a different element for these drivers. Not something they're super used to, especially not on this scale, so we'll see who's going to be able to bring it here tonight.
We'll see who brings it. It's race 13 of the season, and including tonight, only 5 races left before the chase. We decide which 14 drivers will race for a championship. AJ Stravado, we don't have completely updated points, but AJ Stravado still leads the points after a solid finish last week at Charlotte. Jeff Wright got another victory to his name, his 4th of the season, which leads the series, but he's still back 7th in points. Dakota Floyd is one of the drivers currently on the cut line. Chuck Sweeting's there as well. Christopher Hodges, the first driver out. And we'll kind of note that maybe if we see some drivers near the chase cut line get in some trouble, that could be an issue as well. AJ Stravado's points lead is 17 over Bailey Turner and Kenny Kibbe, and Dakota Floyd's 21 points ahead of the cut line for the chase over Christopher Hodges. As we come down to pit road, we start the grid. It's going to be a fun one. A big field of 34 cars, and leading them off to the green flag in just a few moments is J.R. Shepard, another pole to his name in this series. Still looking for that first win of the season for him, that number 98 Ford Mustang. He'll start first alongside Concrete Adam Cabot, always good at these types of tracks. He'll start outside front row. Joshua Banks, 3rd position for him. Had a little bit of a run-in last week, but still a decent finish for him. Bailey Turner, not what we've anticipated seeing from him this year. Looking for his 3rd win, though. He still has a few wins and is still at the front. Philip Brewer still looking for his first career victory in this series. He will start in the 5th position. Ray Massey, the 23, will start in the 6th, looking for his first victory since Bristol a couple of seasons ago. And Nathan Ferrata's back in the series. He starts 7th alongside Ryan Carwell in 8th. And then rounding out the top 10, Justin Ritchie, who's had a solid season so far, 10th in points. He starts 9th. Case Lakatos, great qualifying effort for him. He starts 10th.
Looking back to row number 6, it'll be the 54 of Bryce Shoemaker alongside the 8 of Seth Hatchell. Row number 7, AJ Stravado, the aforementioned points leader in 13th. Dakota Floyd will roll off 14th in the 57. Angelo Hronas rolling off 15th alongside Chad Klinger in the 16th spot. The number 2 of Reggie Ortega rolls off 17th alongside Kyle Peacock in the 83, with Chuck Sweeting and Elliott Butler rounding out the top 20 on tonight's starting grid.
We'll get the one to go next time by Eldon Stewart, trying to get his first top 10 of the season, starting 21st. Ben Lafter, one of the few Ford Mustangs. Not a lot of Mustangs, even though there's one on the pole. Ben Lafter's in one of the few. He starts 22nd. Kenny Kibbe, not known to qualify, but he is known to finish the races at the front. We'll see if he can get to the front a little bit later. He starts back in 23rd alongside Rob Hamp in 24th, who was running pretty well at Charlotte last week for a long time. Caleb Weekly, who's been pretty high up in the points. He started the fade. He's closing in, getting a little bit closer to that cut line, but he's still 62 points to the good. He starts 25th. Max Cost in 26th, still looking for that first career victory. Michael Jones, the 22 car back in the series, he'll start 27th. Matt Shinosky in a Supra will start in the 28th spot. Brandon Walsh, the last driver to put a time down, will start 29th. And Jeff Wright, surprisingly for him, he did not put a qualifying time down. He didn't even attempt to put one down. He is not even in the session, so it seems he will not race. So maybe he will not go for 2 in a row tonight. He was slated to start 30th.
And just behind them, Tim Shinosky, Broderick Valvachar also looking, or Vaklovic will also be not putting a qualifying time together. Keith Shoemaker, Austin Bulkey also a part of that field. So big field, but only so many actually took the grid here tonight. And should be interesting to see how this plays out with, I think a lot of folks were looking to Jeff Wright being the potential one to keep an eye on here tonight.
We'll have to wait and see. He was one we were going to keep an eye on. He was in this session. Not sure what happened. We got to keep an eye on pit speed, 45 miles per hour, 4 extra tire sets in the pits, 5th one being the one that they have on their car, 3 green, white checkers. Hopefully we don't need them, but it would obviously create some action and 100% fuel tank, what we've been doing for 2 straight seasons in this series. But we're going to get things underway, restart. The initial start's on green, and it's all in the hands of J.R. Shepard, looking for his first victory of this season, of Season 6. We're rowdy in Nashville. Once again, green flag is out. We're racing in Nashville. Doesn't get any more frantic at the start than that. 3 wide for the lead in turn 3, and Adam Cabot from outside front row is going to get the race lead. Oh, they're hitting. Brewer and Banks came together. They saved it, and the 98 and 17 get away from that. They're going to be side by side for the lead.
Yeah, great stuff back up at the front, but almost chaos back there for third as Brewer and Turner and Banks almost got together. But Cabot and Shepard, this battle continues here for this top spot.
The battle for clean air, very important at a track like this with limited grooves, so Shepard's not going to let him get away without a fight. He just barely led that lap by 2 1/1000ths of a second, but it's not over yet, side by side, all the way through this field.
Yeah, and that continues to be the case. Obviously, we're watching this lead battle because they are door-to-door for the race lead to see who's going to take control early. But, I mean, you can see all the way back through the field, still a lot of side-by-side. Not a lot of cars have really settled out for position just yet. Up front, though, the 17 and the 98, they're the ones doing battle for the lead. Still a dead heat across the line. Cabot's got the slight edge, but he is definitely not clear yet.
That pass on the inside, tough to make. Very easy, though, to slide up into that car that you're racing with on the outside of you. J.R. Shepard being very respectful, getting good runs off the corners, just not able to get enough of a jolt off the corner to get close to clearing that 17. That's letting Bailey Turner close back into this battle. Philip Brewer up to 4th. Nathan Ferrata's up to 5th as they've kind of single-filed out behind this battle for the lead.
Yeah, and if we're going to jump on board here with Bailey Turner, and you can see just how crazy it's getting up here at the front. 98-17 of Shepard and Cabot still door-to-door through 1 and 2. Bailey Turner, though, has caught them now on the back straightaway. Does he try to make a move and make this a 3-wide battle for the lead? Oh, he's going.
Here he goes. Oh, Shepard blocked it off a little bit, drove it way deeper into the corner, trying to stop him from doing that. That might get the 98 a little bit arrow loose, but they're going to stay side by side for the lead. Besides that battle, we're single file all the way back to the battle for 7th with Ray Massey and Casey Lakatis. But this battle will not go away. These drivers will not give up the clean air as Massey trying to fend off that 50 car.
Yeah, it's easier said than done right now, and still door-to-door right now. I think there's only here we go. Turner going to look to make it 3 wide into 3. Here we go into turn 3. Everyone's going for the race lead. May as well throw Brewer into the mix as well.
Whoa, 98 sideways off the corner. This does not get better than this. They're going to stay 3 wide. Oh, a little bit of contact. Cabot chopped the nose of the 98. He saved it. The 98 lifted. That's what's going to give Cabot the lead. Now we're 3 wide for the 2nd spot. Brewer goes all the way to the 3rd lane, trying to make a lane up there. And now the 98 slides off of turn number 2, but he's going to hang on to 2nd. Wow.
They are already slipping and sliding, and that goes to show that we're these guys are going for the lead early. Could really bite them on the back end of this run here, Connor, if they're really going to burn up their stuff. But, I mean, it's giving us an absolute barn burner of a show to kick this one off.
Hey, we're not the one driving the cars. We don't care if they wear their tires out. It makes it more fun for us, but I do worry about what that's going to look like near the end of this run for both the 17 and the 98, especially the 17, because that was a pretty heavy slide on the tri-oval, and then the 98 trying to get on the gas early had a big slide at it too, but they've been able to single file out because of that, and now the battle's for 3rd with Brewer and Turner.
Yeah, and that battle is picking up. We saw it got really dicey between these two and Joshua Banks a little bit earlier on in this race. And that battle is just picking up right where it left off. Once Turner and Brewer kind of fell back from the lead too, just a touch, and let Banks get right back into the picture. But here comes Ferrata as well, looking to maybe take that 5th spot away.
Ferrata, I'm not able to see the paint scheme myself, but in a Z-line throwback to obviously Kyle Busch from many, many years ago. Still grieving and mourning the loss of one of the greats all time in this sport. The 77 looking pretty fly on the racetrack. He's kept it in that top 5 for the time being. He's got up to 6th, actually. He's trying to get Joshua Banks for that 5th spot, and then it's Lakatos, Massey, Hatchell, and Shoemaker rounding out the top 10. These cars rolling through 3 and 4. Do you see all of a sudden it's not as crazy, or pretty much single file throughout the entire top 10. Had a few sliders here and there. Saw Rob Hamp have a moment off of turn 2 the last time by. As Brewer has a big dive to the inside on the 98 of Shepard. Tried to get him a little loose. Tried to get him off the bottom. Didn't quite work, but we've started to see drivers try to wrap that bottom. That's what's going to be key for saving the tires. You might want to try running fast on the higher lines, but if you want to keep the right front on it, you're going to need to be around that yellow line tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing a lot of cars starting to fight for that bottom of the racetrack. Also worth noting for everybody at home that these guys, you know, they're getting up to about 170, 175 on these straightaways and then backing it down to about 130. You know, and lap over lap, that is going to put a lot of wear on both the brakes, but also these tires. So if you're offline and you start overheating those tires, which we kind of saw with that early battle, it's honestly, I think, a good call for a lot of these guys to try to single file out a little bit, cool those tires down, because there's going to be a good bit of heat that gets into them regardless, just getting around this racetrack. Every time you're battling side by side, you're going to be adding a good bit more to it. And that could be really disastrous late in the run if there is no more rubber to grab the concrete here.
One thing that'll help them from overheating those tires is the fact that the sun went away. We're now in shade at this Nashville Superspeedway, and what that's going to do, you know, concrete's a lot more sensitive. It's very sensitive to heat changes, and it's already going down a little bit, the 107. It might start to go down even more if it stays this shaded around the entire racetrack. But you're, like we mentioned, everyone kind of wrapping the bottom all the way up until you get about the battle for 13th to 14th. Ryan Carwile, Chuck Sweeting, they're going side by side for the 14th position, neither one trying to give it up. And it's been the 75 going forward. It's the 71 that's been going backwards.
Yeah, 71's going the wrong way in a hurry here, and he is getting caught by some more cars. They're starting to become a bit of a pack for him behind these guys. Angelo Hirona is also a part of that battle right now, currently scored in that 16th position. You can also add Eldon Stewart, Elliott Butler to the mix as well. I mean, they're starting to get stacked up a little bit here behind this battle, as I don't know if Adam Cabot just disconnected or if he came down pit road. There's a very long blank for the 17. I just saw him tumbling down the timing tower. But I think it was just a little bit of a disconnection there for a moment for the 17.
It might be a not seeing all the cars issue. That could be an issue as well. By the way, a few things to know. One of the issues is, yes, we're not seeing a lot of paint schemes, and this is not an issue on Alex's part. It seems like Trading Paints is just having a lot of issues. So if your favorite driver that does not have the paint scheme you're used to seeing him in, we do apologize. That is Cabot's paint scheme and the Rowdy Energy paint scheme. Obviously honoring Kyle Busch, like you mentioned, the 77 was doing. Also, one thing quick to note, AJ Stravado, who was slated to start near the front of the field, or at least in the mid-pack in 13th. He had a computer issue or some sort, something that dropped him way down the order. He missed the start, so he started from the pits, and he's slowly catching that pack of cars that's about 4 seconds ahead of him, but he is back dead last 32nd out of 32 cars that started this race.
Yeah, he's kind of fallen off the pace here a little bit. He had some time on pit road for that technical issue, which is going to cost him, I think, fairly dearly. You know, he's going to go out there and do what he can, but, man, that is a really tough break here for the 33 of Stravado.
About the third or fourth time I can recall him starting from the pits in this season alone, but he's putting good lap times together. Soon enough, he'll probably be to the back of Tim Shinosky for position, but currently the battles are starting to heat up a little bit more in the top 5. Bailey Turner trying to fend off Ferrata, who did get by Joshua Banks a few laps ago. He looked to the inside of the 24, but not able to do it, and that's the problem about Nashville. It's so tough to get the passes done, more so than it is at a track like Kansas or Las Vegas, where you have 3 or 4 lanes to work with. to the start of this race, you really only have 2 lanes to work with. So if that driver is trying to fend you off, not give you the spot, they're going to pinch you to the bottom, and you're going to have to be so careful on the throttle not to hit them, and that pass is going to be near impossible.
Yeah, it really is. And this is where things start to really get dicey if you are starting to burn up your tires, because it's kind of hard to go forward at this point. It is significantly easier to start going backwards, though, if you've burned up your stuff. And that may or may not be the case with what we're seeing here with the 23 of Ray Massey, who's starting to slip back a little bit here. Hatchell just went by, and now the 2 of Ortega looking to the inside. Dakota Floyd a part of that battle as well.
Same thing with the 71 and 75 battling. You got one going forwards, the other going backwards. Ortega's trying to get his 7th position gained. The 23 is about to lose his 5th position after starting 6th, and neither driver not really giving an inch as they're side by side behind. 2 had a bit of a wiggle out of turn number 2. Dakota Floyd, Chad Klinger side by side, almost getting ready to wad him up early into turn number 1, but the 57's gonna back out. The 09 almost got into the left rear.
Yeah, he certainly did.
Chad Klinger trying to recover last week. Had a good run going. Contact with Joshua Banks with about 60 laps to go. Ended his race hard to the inside wall. Not the best of starts for him after qualifying 16th. He's gained a few spots, but stuck in a little bit of a gaggle.
Yeah, starting to get caught up behind that battle we were just watching. Things are starting to get stacked up pretty intensely here.
Stacking up in the middle of the pack. A little bit of a stack up at the front of the pack as Philip Brewer started to fade. Turner's going to get the 3rd position away at the front of the field. Chuck Sweeting trying to find a way around Chad Klinger at the same time, but he's in a side-by-side battle still. This time it's with the 2 of Ortega. Now he's the one kind of going backwards a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of good mid-pack action going on right here. Dakota Floyd trying to make some forward headway as things got a little close there off of turn 4.
Got close out of 4 with Ferrata and Brewer. I was looking at that. They had contact in the middle of the corner. Ferrata actually got a piece of the wall. Joshua Banks going to jump to the outside, try to pass both of them. Brewer going to slide all the way up the track in front of a 35 just before he could get to the right recorder panel. That's some dicey driving.
Yeah, this is that part of the race, I think, where we're starting to see a little bit of that tire fall off and a little bit of that tire indifference between the field. And
we're starting to see who's... Oh, sorry.
No, you go right ahead.
We're starting to see who saved him and who didn't. The 24 has all of a sudden come to life. He was fading a little bit. All of a sudden, he's trying to get the runner-up position from J.R. Shepard. Got to his inside. Philip Brewer seems to be starting to fade a little bit. He's in the clutches of that 35 and that 77, but the 24 going forwards. Side by side out of the corner, Brewer trailing both of them. Ferrata trying to fend off the 35 of Banks, who's had better long-run pace this season than I feel like he has in a lot of other seasons. It's been a big improvement in his sim racing game. 35, from my experiences racing him, used to be kind of a short-run guy, but he's definitely gotten a little bit better as the years have gone on, the seasons have gone on, and same can be said for a lot of drivers as well. I mean, everyone's improved. This series has upped the talent game at each and every season, and none more talented of a season than this one for sure, as Shepard trying to fend off that 24, a little sideways out of the corner, running out of room, running out of time, and the 24's got the spot.
Yeah, he does. The 98 definitely had the back end of the car sticking out there for a moment off of turn 4. You can really tell he's trying to get back onto the throttle as soon as he can. The back wheel's just barely outrunning the front. That's why you're seeing the back end start to step out a little bit off of 4, but doing a good job keeping the car under him right now. He has dropped a couple of spots, but very much still in this lead pack, a part of this lead fight here, 25 laps in.
Not quite sure if he even led a lap from pole. And once again, he was the pole sitter, and we see that so many times because the initial starts are on the green flag. There's a lot of times the pole sitter won't lead a lap in a race sometimes, and that might be the case with Shepard. We'll have to see if he can get back up there to the 17 and the 24, and we'll see if the 24 can start gaining on his old friend Adam Cabot, but single file at the front, not so single file where we last saw Ryan Carwile right now. As Carwile, Kenny Kibbe, Angel Horonis, all those drivers kind of battling amongst themselves, but we're getting pretty single filed out. We're not really too far away from pit stops currently. We need to get a little bit of an ad break in. We have a lot of advertisements, a lot of supporters of Saturday Night Racing League. We got to get them all in, so stick around. We'll be right back. Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
It's too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time. Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
GC Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Introducing
Not much has changed at the front, except the battle for the lead has gotten a little bit closer, but the lead hasn't switched yet. But Bailey Turner is on the charge. He has caught Adam Cabot. He's closed in 100th after 100th, and he's almost there to challenge at the back of the field. Just had to update one thing. Now we're drawing all 32 cars that are on track, as there has been not too much going on at the back, but we do see all the battles now. Speaking of, the battle for 31st changed. Stravato finally got one of those positions from Caleb Weekly, as Bailey Turner is sawing on the wheel trying to get the lead, but Stravato starts his climb.
Yeah, him and Weekly, two folks that I don't think we would have anticipated seeing back here sub-30 in the early going, but they've got some work to do here to make their way back toward the front.
Yeah, while in that little commercial, we did see Justin Ritchie and Caleb Weekly had a little bit of contact. They kept it straight enough to where we did not have a yellow, and it doesn't seem like either driver has much damage, but certainly sent them down to the order. Both drivers in 10th and 11th in points, right next to each other in points, actually, so a pretty big deal, those two coming together.
And you can see a little bit of left side damage there on the 55. Nothing that should really throw him off too much, but just enough to know that it's there.
Yeah, I'm not seeing too much damage besides that. I do see Ben Lapter with a decent amount of right front damage, but I don't think that's from another car. He might have been in the wall a few times. But we're starting to get a little bit more spread out. Not really at the back. Still a lot of battling going on just inside the top 25. But that once again, that lead battle starting to get a little bit closer. But most single file throughout majority of the field. Furthest up side-by-side battle was that battle with Ben Lapter and Shinosky. But once again, Stravato gets another spot from Michael Jones.
Yeah, this is that point in the run at a place like Nashville where everyone has found their little bit of real estate, and they're just kind of hunkering down and hoping that you've got what it takes to make it to the end of this run, so you can come down pit road, put fresh tires on it, and fuel this thing back up. Some folks were able to capitalize when the tires were fresh. Other folks were losing out a little bit, but this is the part of the run, especially on a concrete oval that does not have a lot of lanes, like you mentioned, Connor, where this is where it starts getting really tough to pass. You just kind of, you anchor in line, you get a good run on a guy, you go to make a move into the corner, and all that momentum just kind of dies out the moment you get there.
Dirty air is still a big issue. Don't like to talk about it because the O'Reilly cars are probably one of the better NASCAR series vehicles that deal with dirty air, but it's still there. It's still a problem, and being at the front matters a lot more than fresh tires at certain points of the race. 17 has it, 24 wants it, and the 17 slipped off the bottom a little bit. Here comes Bailey Turner for the race lead up ahead.
And he might get it right here, too. Big move from the 17, trying to get down to the apron. Turner goes right down there with him. Here they go in the turn one side by side.
These guys are the best of friends off the track, but on the track you would never know because every time they're racing for position, they race each other 110%. Neither driver wants to lose to the other, and you see that on the racetrack every single week. These two are on the same piece of real estate, and that time Cabot got the better of him, but that 24, I think no doubt he's got some better tires right now.
Yeah, the two of them have started to open up quite a gap here from J.R. Shepard here, who's now fallen back about a second. So this is really where the battle for the lead is here early after that great tangle we had in the opening 10 laps or so across those 3 or 4 cars who were duking it out for the race lead. And the folks who still seem to have some tires under them appear to be the 17 and the 24. And I think if you're Bailey Turner here, you're more than content to just kind of hang out here and see if you can work that tire advantage to any degree. McCavitt with that fresh air, that's where things are going to kind of maybe balance out.
And you kind of saw how important that is right there. You saw the 24 trying to run the yellow line, washed up in the 17's air, lost maybe about a tenth of a second. We haven't seen him venture towards that second lane quite yet to get some clean air on the nose. But every time the 17 misses that yellow line like he did right there, that's a big advantage of a 24. Lets him close in just a little bit more, closer to get to that rear bumper, get to the left rear, and loosen up the 17, get him a little bit aero loose. But every time the 17 nails the bottom of the racetrack, the 24 washes up the track. And seems like 17's better in 3 and 4 than he is in 1 and 2 at doing that, because once again, that time the 24 gained, he loses it out of 4.
Yeah, that's the kind of seesaw that we're seeing back and forth here that's kind of left the 24 in a bit of no man's land. And we got some more battling going on here through the top 10. This is the 54 Bryce Shoemaker now looking to maybe make a run here for 6th on Brewer.
A great run for Bryce Shoemaker so far. Not had the worst of seasons. He's 16th in points, only 28 points outside of that chase cut line, but he only has 1 top 10 to his name this season and no top 5. So the fact he's trying to get to the 6th position, battling some of those guys, is one of the better runs we've seen the 54 have all season long.
And he is putting some pressure on to Brewer right now, trying to find that spot there. Another battle on the racetrack. That's Chad Clare trying to go by the 50 of Lakatos. And Dakota Floyd right in that battle as well. This is all battling for the back half of the top 10 right now.
Case Lakatos in the 09 car. He's in the 10th position. He started pretty much in that same exact spot. Matter of fact, literally the same exact spot. He did just lose what was the 9th position to Dakota Floyd. He's starting to maybe fade a little bit. Chad Klinger trying to get to the rear bumper, maybe pressure the 50 a little bit. But 50 still strong run for him in the top 10 so far. He's 18th in points, not too far behind where the 54 is in points. Also only 1 top 10 to his name this season.
Yeah, good start to the race there for both of these guys as they're making their way into the top 10 early. Joshua Banks now maybe trying to find a way around the long way here of J.R. Shepard. And nothing going there in 3 and 4, but it's not stopping him from trying. He continues to, I think, have a little bit more speed than the 98, but not enough to really do much about it at this point in time.
And if you want to get some track position, get it now, because we're probably not too far away from green flag pit stops. Halfway in this race is lap 75. Even with a full fuel tank, you're not going to get the lap 75 on a tank of fuel here. So roughly around lap 50, that range, that's when we're going to start to see drivers come down, take 4 tires. Might see some drivers do the short pit, get to the lead, maybe get some extra track position, maybe try to hold on, play some defense. You might see some guys go long, get fresher tires for the next run, and play some offense. We'll just have to wait and see who decides to do what strategy. Saw a lot of that at Charlotte last week, but difference in that race, it was a 200-lap race, longest race of the season besides the one we had at Daytona. That was 500 miles. That was a long race as well. As here comes the battle for 3rd. Banks wants it, got the run off the top. He's going to get the V inside of Shepard, and this is going to be a tough pass still.
Yeah, it is. That was this is one of those situations where the 98 a little bit of contact there between the 98 and the 35. Yeah, but it started with the there's more contact.
Shepard spins in front of the entire field.
Oh, and he's around.
More contact with Ferrata. No yellow yet. The yellow has not come out. Now he's going to bring it back up the racetrack. And there has not been a caution for it. Unbelievable that did not trigger an iRacing caution. Ferrata, Shepard, and Banks all come together. And we stay green somehow through all that.
I could not tell you how. Let's see if we can take one quick look at it here on the replay.
Well, through all that, Banks gets to the 3rd position. Little bit of contact middle of the corner. Then the 98, I think, wants to come down. Well, actually, the 77 kind of comes up the track. They come together. 98's about to save it. Then Ferrata and him have more contact. And I guess the 98 was just low enough on the track. It did not trigger a yellow.
Unbelievable.
J.R. Shepard's had a lot of poor luck this season, and this is just another part of it.
I think the part that's staggering to me is where iRacing does decide to or not to throw the yellow. Like, I understand it's like what's in the racing line, what isn't. But what they determine to be in the racing line and what isn't in the racing line, I always find fascinating because I never seem to agree with what they do say is the racing line or is not.
The newer tracks, newer scans, most of the time it doesn't matter where you're sideways on the track, it's going to be a yellow. But older scans where they can't quite update that aspect, you're not going to see a lot of yellows. Try Darlington. If it's below the groove and a half lanes at Darlington, you're not going to get a yellow.
No, never.
It's not very fun to wreck at Darlington and not get a yellow. But what that's done is sent the 98 all the way down about second to last, 30th position or so. And Ferrata, he didn't fall back nearly as far, but he, I think, got the worst end of it. A lot of damage on the right front of his car back in 17th.
Yeah, you can see that damage here coming off of turn 2. That Supra definitely took a good shot. And he's dropped down the 17th here. He's still running much like Shepard, but, I mean, both of these guys definitely took a good shot. And there's a great look at that right front damage. I mean, that is significant, and that's just the visual damage. That doesn't speak to anything that might be under that fender that may have gotten bent up or broken in that contact.
Likely suspension damage, harder to turn the wheel, probably making that car tighter, and probably wearing the right front out even more, which means he's going to be in big trouble if he has to do a long run at any point in this race, if he doesn't get the chance to repair that damage at any point. Somehow it's all calmed down after that. Joshua Banks, the only one who got away with that, seemingly with no damage. He's cleared to third position now. He's pulled away from Philip Brewer and Bryce Shoemaker. Shoemaker all of a sudden looking for the fourth position on the 44. And what that did is let the 17 and 24 get even further away, and that battle's died down. Adam Cabot flexed his muscle a little bit. He is pulled further away from Bailey Turner. It's about a 7/10 of a second gap now.
Yeah, he's looking really strong at the moment. There's the gap back off the back bumper here of the 17, and you know, there was a point in time a few laps ago where the 24 was close enough to reach out and just kind of grab on and sit there. Not the case now, as the 24 starting to fall off just a little bit here. I mean, this is lap 50 on this run. These tires definitely starting to protest, I have no doubt. But the 17 doing a great job with that clean air, keeping those tire temps down and just hitting his marks, hitting his line, and is doing a really, really nice job just kind of in a rhythm, putting some distance between him and the field.
And we'll see if strategy plays into this at all. Did see some pit stops last time by. Chad Klinger, who was 9th, came down to pit, as did Ryan Carwile and Elliott Butler, and I believe the 98 of Jared Shepard, whose damage also came down to pit. Saw a few more come down this time. Looks like Philip Brewer from about the 4th position. Bryce Shoemaker, Kenny Kibbe. So here comes the cycle of pit stops. Very tough to get on pit road anywhere. Still pretty tough here. It's a very sharp turn to get on the pit road here. But the pit exit, you have a very small access road, and if you go out in the grass, you're in trouble.
Yeah, so this is the start of that green flag pit cycle. We'll see what the move is here. Doesn't look like any of those front couple cars elected to take two. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel for the lot of them. And it looks like the 54 actually going to beat Brewer off of pit. Oh, no. Brewer able to hold that spot race for now. It was close, but Brewer going to hold on to that spot temporarily.
I say it's small. You do have room to go side by side on the access road, but you're probably not doing either driver any favors when you're battling amongst each other. Saw Seth Hatchell, Andrew Horonis came down the pit. The leaders continue to stay out. Dakota Floyd, he comes down the pit. But those leaders going a little bit longer, getting fresher tires for the next run. Just a matter of who blinks first between those two, as there's that 57 on pit lane.
Yeah, not the only one. Peacock and Stravato now making their stops as well. And it's been a very fast opening 50 here from Nashville. You know, a couple of things that maybe could have brought out the yellow, but ultimately did not, has kept this thing moving pretty good. As you see more and more folks now kind of cycling through. And their stops, looks like a 4-tire stop here for the 57 to Floyd. So he's now down the way. Here comes the 75. Justin Ritchie is well back there sliding it in.
Tim Shinosky, Max Kost, they'll all bring it down the pit lane. Justin Ritchie as well. I'd call it a fast and frantic start, no doubt about it. So I think Caleb Weekly just tried to pit, missed his pit entry. Also, we didn't load all the paint schemes. We did load the VSPEED Seth Hatchell paint scheme, so that's always a positive. As once again, Cabot and Turner going a little longer than the rest of the drivers who have already pit. They stay on track. Banks does the same.
Yeah, so the top 3 have continued to stay out here And they're starting to become some of the folks who have been the longest running on the racetrack here. We've cycled through most of the field at this point, as you can see from timing and scoring at this point. It's only about the top, dare I say, 11 or 12 cars, I think, who have still yet to pit. And even those folks are starting to come down pit road now. You see, like, the 7 is leaving his spot. There goes the 63 down in the way.
And here comes Bailey Turner right on cue. As we're talking about him, second place on the racetrack, comes down the pit. Got the pit road before the 17, so that will be interesting. See if that blends out differently. See if the 17 responds the very next lap. Ortega also came down the pit, watched the merge. Had to get down across Brandon Wallace's nose, make sure he didn't get blocked out of his pit. But Turner will come down, take 4 tires.
Looks like that'll be the case here as well for the 2 of Reggie Ortega, who's gotten into his box relatively cleanly. And here comes the race leader, Adam Cabot, this time by. Locks it up, getting down the pit lane, but I think he got it slowed up in time.
Sure looks like it. We haven't really seen any visual speeding penalties. We'll see. We'll really be able to tell a speeding penalty, see who's a lap down and who isn't. That'll be our decider. 24 out and away. Got to use those tires wisely in this first lap. Maybe trying to get that undercut to get in front of a 17. It could be the difference in racing for the win, getting out in front of that 17, because once the 17 saved his stuff, started driving hard to get away from the 24, he really started pulling away.
Yeah, that was really a big difference. In this 35 of Joshua Banks just now coming down pit road. So the top 3 all coming down on different laps as Cabot now down and away. So that is going to cause us a slight difference between those 3 on this one. But if this stays green, that difference could be amplified on the next stop. And we'll see how this is going to start playing out. As now Lakatos has got the temporary race lead here.
And right now, Cabot is going to blend literally right behind the 24. Turner just got in front of that 17 of Adam Cabot, and that could be the difference, but he's going to get the 24 loosened up. They're both trying to get back on the lead lap. A big wiggle for the 24. They're going to split the leader, and the 17 is going to regain the spot. What a move.
Oh, and there he goes. Cabot clears Turner. 24 not going to be thrilled about that. Also not going to be thrilled is the 35 of Joshua Banks, who I believe was caught speeding on pit road.
Yes, he was.
That is going to be a long stop for him. He had such a good day going. Now this is going to cost him a ton of time as Turner into the back bumper of the 17, going to move him up the hill.
What did I say earlier? They do not race each other as well as they probably should, being friends. They know how important that position is in this race for the win, but they battle more. It's going to let those guys who undercut have even more time at the front. Brewer, Klinger, Hatchell, Bryce Shoemaker all got out in front of both these drivers.
Yeah, and this battle is going to continue the rage on here. Cabot closes the door once again on the 24, but that is just going to be a temporary situation as he's trying to look under the 54 Shoemaker here. Turner going to step right back into the tire tracks. Fantastic stuff between the 2 cars who've been running 1 and 2 all race long. And this is critical positioning here when this all cycles through, because there's still a few folks who have yet to pit. Carwile just coming down pit road now, and that leaves us, I think, with 3 cars who haven't pit yet: Lakatos, Ferreira, and Jones. And this will be provisional race lead eventually, assuming they catch up to folks like Philip Brewer, who with the undercut has got himself a little bit of an advantage here, but is going to be on slightly older tires when they get to him.
Still waiting on those top 3 to pit. I believe 71 he had pit, I believe. He's just fallen outside the top 10. Dakota Floyd battling for that spot. But Case Lakatos, Nathan Ferrata, and Michael Jones, we're still waiting on those 3 drivers to come down and pit. Maybe they do try to make it to lap 75. I personally would think that's impossible. We'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out. But Cabot got in front of Turner, but they're still battling pretty hard. But they still got to get to the 8 of Seth Hatchell. But they're battling each other harder than they are trying to get to those top 3 drivers.
Yeah, that is certainly the case as they are going roaring by here. I mean, now the 24 maybe going to try to get to the outside. Not quite in time.
Oh, he hit him.
More contact. Oh, he's going up the hill.
Bump and run. He shoved him into the corner. Now they're side by side for the spot. This is exactly what Hatchell, Klinger, and Philip Brewer want to see. They want them to race each other this hard. It makes the undercut so much more valuable, and Cabot is not going to give that spot up.
No, he is refusing to part ways with that spot over Bailey Turner right now. Turner, though, too, their credit, I mean, he is doing everything imaginable right now, trying to pry away that spot short of wrecking the guy. I mean, there has been, over-unders, trying to duck low at the last second, little bit of bump and run, shoving him into the corner, trying to move him. I mean, he is exhausting any and all options right now, as now he looks to the outside in 3.
You think that battle's crazy? How about the battle for 20th? AJ Stravado just took it, but look at all these cars under a blanket. You got about just under a dozen cars, and we're almost looking like a super speedway 3x3. Stravado just happened to get past all that.
Yeah, and now Ortega looking to do the same here. Same with Shepard. They're both starting to make their way through, but man, that is a cluster of cars coming across the stripe here. Here goes Cost to the outside of Laughter. This is for 23rd right now. And, I mean, you could be fooled into thinking they were fighting for the win here in the Daytona or Talladega the way they were all clustered together.
Meanwhile, they were clustered. They kind of conversed and get away from one another. Bailey Turner, in the meantime, got back by the 17. He got by the 17 of Cabot. Cabot blocked him down the back straightaway, but he got around the outside of him in 3 and 4 to get that spot away.
And now the 24 with a little bit of room going past the 8 of Seth Hatchell. 17 looking to do the same here. This is for 6th on the racetrack right now, as Lakatos, Ferrata, and Jones still looking to come down pit road here, I believe. Actually, the 50 just making their stop now here on lap 66. Jones and Ferrata, though, stay. Now, the 77 staying out despite the amount of damage he sustained in that earlier incident with, I believe, the 98 of Shepard.
Yeah, damage definitely slowing him down. Michael Jones has actually caught him and might have a battle for the race lead. They got to make it about 9 more laps if they want to make it the halfway and make this a one-stop race on fuel. And on cue, they both try to pit. Michael Jones might make a pass on pit entry, but not quite able to. Ferrata, just a wider entry, but they come down to pit. They could only make it 66 laps, as that turns the lead over to Philip Brewer for the first time tonight. And meanwhile, that battle for second with Chad Klinger and Bailey Turner. Both drivers have had run-ins with each other past few seasons a lot, and now Turner's up to second, and he has the advantage over Cabot, who tries to follow but can't quite do it.
And this is the thing for the 17, where you got to be making these passes as quick as you can while you still have some tire to make them. Passing gets infinitely harder the more of these tires get burnt up, and you got to be able to hold serve with the 24 if you're Cabot, at least till you get to a one-on-one situation, and then you can try to treat it the way Turner did in that opening stint. Hang on the back bumper, wait to see if your opponent will make a mistake. But when you're going through traffic like this, it's critical you clear them as quick as possible, because if you get stuck behind somebody and those tires start burning up, it's going to be that much harder to make the pass to keep pace. But Brewer's got that lead, but I can't say it's going to be for long here, Connor.
And we'll see how much longer he can hold that 24 back, and we'll see how quickly the 24 can get rid of the 44, because if he doesn't make that pass quickly, Adam Cabot's going to be right there to pounce for sure. As we now it's all cycled out, we have about 29 drivers lead lap. Ferrata and Jones went a lap down running long, and Joshua Banks is 32nd, 1 lap down because of his speeding penalty, believed to be the only driver to have sped. But Brewer continues to lead, but like you said, not for long. It wasn't even really more than about 3 or 4 laps. Turner gets the run to the inside, dives into 3, and he's now into the race lead for the first time tonight. But Cabot will follow him right through, and going to be bumper to bumper for the second run of the race.
Yeah, right now, if you're the rest of the field, you've got to figure out what you're doing differently than the 24 or the 17. That is where the speed is here tonight. There are some fast cars through the field. I mean, Joshua Banks had a good bit of pace, but, errors on pit road cost him some valuable track position. But for the rest of these folks who are running top 10, I mean, you can clearly see there's a bit of a gap right now between them and these two. And something's probably going to have to change here if you're going to want to go up there and compete with these guys in the back half of the race.
Now things have cycled through. Nathan Ferrata trying to get past the 0-9. That's not for position. But now we see where everyone's running, where everyone's kind of settled in. Dakota Floyd up to the 6th position. He got by Bryce Shoemaker for that position as they continue to battle. Then a little bit of a bigger gap back to 8th. Ryan Carwile, Kenny Kibbe doing battle for that spot. And even further back than that, it's Angelo Horonis and Eldon Stewart running for the 10th position. Great run for Eldon Stewart, actually. I think he might have done a little bit of a short pit. He's up 11 positions so far, and a great run for the 1 car, and it has not been a great season for him either. He's down 38th in points, so it's not been the season he wanted, but a great run so far.
Yeah, so far so good here for the one, up 11 spots. Got a good little battle for 12th going on here between Butler and the 75 of Sweeting. Both of them up big time. Sweeting up 6 spots, Butler up 8. So they're both starting to forge their way in the right direction here in the hunt to try to get into the top 10. They got a couple seconds still to go if they're going to make that one happen, but
these guys are battling for the 12th position. This is how much it's spread out in a fully green race to this point. They're 8 seconds behind the race leader, Bailey Turner. And even further back than that, give a shout out to AJ Stravado. Missed the start, started from the pits, dead last 32nd. Things have cycled out, and he's all the way up to the 15th position. Incredible drive, and that's why he's the points leader.
Yeah, this is one of those days where, like, you try to rally and get what you can if you're starting all the way in the back of the field. And for Stravado, he is doing a great job trying to maximize the day, as it were. Obviously not really in the hunt right now for the race win, down in 15th. But, I mean, this is as high as we've seen him run all night long and just continues to chip away at this deficit. And that, to your point, is part of the reason why he's having such a great season to this point and why he needs the points coming into Nashville.
He did a little bit of a short pit lap 52, so his tires might not be as fresh as the drivers around him, but he's got that raw speed to kind of counter that in front of Ray Massey, Reggie Ortega trying to get back through the field. Ray Massey, same with him. He started top 10. He's kind of faded a little bit, and this is really the biggest gaggle of cars we have back there, but Kenny Kibbe's still trying to get that position away from the 71 of Carlisle. He had it for a moment, lost it back to the 71.
Yeah, it was a very fleeting moment in 8th there. He's trying to get back to that spot, but right now the 71 doing a great job holding him off on the outside. And this is that point, again, in the run. You know, it sounds like we've just been beating a dead horse tonight about, like, you know, once the tires fall off, it gets really hard to pass. But, like, that green flag pit cycle, you know, the lead cars only finished it a few laps ago. But for most of these guys, like, Kenny Kibbe's already on 24-lap-old tires. Like, they have definitely been chewed up a little bit here. And that's where, you know, you start seeing these passing start to become a little bit trickier than if it was they just came off a pit road. If those were fresh tires, I think he would have been able to make that move on the inside the last lap. But, you know, with 24-lap-old tires, not so much.
We beat a dead horse a lot. I feel like I say the same things a lot each and every week. But one thing we do not get tired of doing every single week is getting loud, letting you guys hear the sights and sounds of the racetrack, of the race cars. It might be a simulator, but the racing is sure real. And once we get the halfway, we usually try to get loud and try to give you guys the sounds of that. What do you say we do that, Alex?
All righty, let's pull it up here. We'll jump on board here real quick with the 14.
Always like hearing the sights and sounds of the racetrack. Always fun to do each and every week. And I think the quote I was trying to say is the cars aren't real, but the racing sure is. And this racing is as real as it gets because Cabot has stayed on the rear bumper of Bailey Turner. Can't quite find a way past. Turner's been blocking him up and down the racetrack, and they are not letting each other get out of their sights.
No, they certainly are not. We got a great battle still going for the lead here between Turner and Cabot, as we have really for basically the opening 80 laps here, and it just continues to be a fantastic duel between these
Blocked
two.
him to the apron. Here we go. Got to the inside, but this is where it gets really tough to make that pass. You can't really. He's just going to shove it into a corner, maybe shove the 24 up the racetrack side by side for the race lead.
Turner holds on to it for now. This is that part of the race. It gets really tricky to make a move on the inside unless you have a ton of momentum. Cabot thought he had it. Tagged him.
They do not play nice with each other, do they? Gave him a huge shove into turn number 3. Now he's got the run out of turn number 4, and this is happening 2 seconds in front of Philip Brewer. Brewer's hoping, hey, rub each other up a little bit more. I'll be the leader soon enough, but this is incredible stuff between these two guys. They know their limits, and they are pushing them to the max right now, dead even out of turn number 2.
Yeah, they know exactly where the line is, and they know how to step on it where half the foot's still on the line, but the other half is crossing it. They haven't fully crossed the line yet, but boy, do they want to try to stretch it as much as they can. We've seen the 24 try to move the 17 out of the way. Now we saw Cabot return the favor. And, all's fair. No one's dumping each other, but boy, are they moving each other out of the way right now.
And it's not really slowing them down. I mean, they still pulled away from Philip Brewer a little bit that lap. It's incredible how much pace they have even with racing this hard. As a 24 little wiggle out of the corner, Cabot right on the bumper. Does he try to bump and run again this time? You're going to know Bailey Turner's going to shove it hard into a corner to avoid that bumper, and he did exactly that. And he's able to get a little bit of a gap over the 17, but here comes that run out of the corner. Cabot's so good out of turn number 4 right now.
Yeah, the 17, especially on 3 and 4, has just been so good, especially in about the past 10 laps or so. Once again, gets that run, gets to the inside of the 24, door to door. That's just where the momentum dies, is that the 24 is able to keep the 17 down at the apron there. And Cabot just can't get that car to rotate.
And that's what we saw earlier in the race, even when the 17 was leading. It seemed like Cabot was a little weak in 1 and 2, but he was really launching off of 3 and 4 incredibly well. That time, not the case. 24, a good set of corners. He gets a little bit of breathing room in between him and the 17, and breathing room's the best way to put it. He gets a chance to breathe and kind of maybe settle back in a little bit, and we're not too far away from what could be the final round of pit stops under green. I mean, lap 100's only in about 16 laps.
Yeah, these folks, they ran that opening stint about 55 laps or so, or maybe a little less, somewhere between 50 and 55. So, we know they can even go a little past 50 if they so choose. So that window really could open incredibly soon. We saw cars pit as late as lap 66. If you wanted to do a 66-lap run to the end, you'd be pitting in about now. You could make it to the finish. So, really, the window's kind of open for whenever these guys want to pit. And I think this race could be very well won or lost, depending on when these two decide to come down pit road. Is Cabot now to the outside in 3?
We haven't seen many drivers be able to get that second to third lane really working too much. Cabot sent it in the 3. He's going to get a decent run off of 4, but probably not what you really want out of that top lane. But he's going to be on the bumper, the 24 again in the turn number 1.
And while this has been going on, Dakota Floyd has caught Philip Brewer here for 3rd. 57 looking to the inside for the 3rd spot. Is he going to be able to take that spot away? Yes, he is. So now Dakota Floyd into that bottom step of the podium. But admittedly, I don't want to leave this battle just yet. We've got some fantastic stuff going on up at the front of the field.
Seems like that third air is harder to fight through in 3 and 4 than it is 1 and 2. It seems like no matter who the trailing car is, they lose a little bit out of 4, but that draft just strong enough to bring the 17 back within about half a car length, and he keeps trying that second lane, trying to get clean air on the nose, and the 24 wiggling, driving the heck out of it off the corner, and the 17's going to have a little bit of a run, but not quite enough.
This is the tough part. When you get this close to someone, you just don't really have anywhere to go.
There it is, the bumper.
Oh, you see how active the hands are on the wheel there for Turner. He was seesawing that thing all over the place to hold on to it as Cabot just drove him up the racetrack.
And he got to the inside, but he's been here so many times, not able to finish that pass. He stuffed into the turn number 1. They're going to make even more contact into the corner, up the racetrack or groove, but Turner's going to hold strong. He keeps the race lead. Once again, incredible stuff.
It is unreal the way these guys are going after it right now. You'd think the white flag was coming out this time by, but they still got 70 laps in this thing. And they
are close to the end.
But it's been like this since the drop of the green flag, kind of like since lap 1, these guys have been going after it like this.
It's been incredible to watch for sure. And both drivers have had a share of each other. I mean, they've been in they've kind of swapped spots in this race. The first run of the race, it was a 24 chasing the 17, and now it's vice versa this run, and who knows what it will be on this final run of the race. They spread out a little bit. We could finally look someplace else for another battle, and currently that best one is Angelo Horonis, a little bit fresher tires than Ryan Carwile. He's chased him, caught him, and passed him for what is now, I believe, the 9th position. So good rally for the 29. He started in the 15th position, so he's driven up through the field quite nicely himself. Eldon Stort's fallen a little further back, but he's still in the 11th spot. And it looks like the two of Reggie Ortega, Casey Lacadas. Remember, Lacadas stayed out pretty long, so he has fresher tires. He's about to get into the top 15 past Ortega.
Yeah, this is the big thing. He's on 10-lap fresher tires than Ortega, and Ortega even went a little bit longer. Like, he's on 15-lap fresher tires than Butler, who's just up ahead of both of these guys. So the 50, I mean, I think he's really trying to work that thing right now to take advantage of the fact that those tires are fresher than the rest of the field. But making some decent headways. He's kind of rallying back here.
And these guys, we're trying to see whatever else we can, but this battle has been the closest and the most aggressive this entire run. Still bumper to bumper, and still pulling away from Dakota Floyd in 3rd place.
Yeah, I mean, they continue to open up that gap a little bit.
Hit him again.
Yeah. 24 just, I mean, you're going to be able to take the Chevy logo out of the back bumper of the 24 about 3 or 4 times with how hard he's hit him on a couple of these runs into turn 3. And the 17, man, I mean, he is just knocking on the door trying to make something happen. And to Turner's credit, he has not given him anything that he hasn't been able to recover from here.
Not quite yet, but that 17 just seems like if he can get back to the lead, get back that clean air, he's going to pull away again. But it's not a matter of when. At this point, so close to the next set of stops, it's a matter of if he can get by that 24 without having to undercut him and pit a lap earlier. Remember, the 24 is a lap older tires than the 17. He's been able to make this work this entire run, as every time Cabot tries to get to the right rear entering the corner, and you saw that time Turner slid up the racetrack to block him a little bit.
And block him he did. They went all the way up almost into the marbles there. Cabot holding on to that spot for now in the 2nd spot. Everything he's tried, he's looked under, he's looked through, he's looked over, and the 24 has been there each and every time. And, it's not through a lack of creativity that Cabot hasn't made this pass yet. I think physically just the tires are not giving him what he needs to complete this pass here. As aggressive as he's been, is now he's to the inside again on 1.
Turner wanted to protect the outside line. He gave Cabot the bottom, and that's why right there, because he can just rocket off turn 2, get that run off the corner every time. There's nothing Cabot can do about it unless he wants to wreck the 24, which obviously he doesn't want to do, so he's not going to use them up too much. We did see them make contact a number of laps ago, but he's not going to outright wreck the 24, so Turner's going to use that to his advantage, run that 2nd lane, but he's a little bit too tight off of turn number 4, and here comes Cabot back.
Dive into the inside again as they come across the stripe in the 1. He's farther along than he has been. Slides it up there.
Oh, way too deep into turn number 1. Turner was ready for it. Here comes the crossover. He's going to get him back. This is incredible stuff.
Whoa.
I can't believe that.
Makes the pass back. Little over-under action. Cabot launched it in there in the turn 1. Couldn't get it to stick, and a beautiful job from the 24 to slide back in front of him. And if I'm Adam Cabot right now, I don't know if I should be impressed or just furious that I have not been able to pry away the spot yet.
Kenny Kibbe pit last time by, so he's the first one to pit. More contact, door-to-door banging into the corner. The 17 just cannot keep the nose pointed in 1 and 2, and that's playing to Turner's advantage to keep giving him the race lead. And I said they were still pulling away from Dakota Floyd. That's not the case. Floyd has gained about half a second since I last said that.
Yeah, he in a little bit of clean air and just being able to do what he wants to do. Floyd is starting to reel him in a bit. It's not going to mean anything, I think, before they come down pit road for the potential final time here tonight. However, it is going to get him closer in striking distance, where if one of these guys even just has a little bit of a slow entry into their box, he could be right there to pounce on it and jump up a spot.
Elliot Butler, another driver who's pit. So only 2 drivers have pit so far, the 14 and the 6. We'll see where they cycle out. A few more came down. Rob Hamp, Kyle Peacock. once again down on the pit road. So 4 drivers have pit just before that lap 100 mark. So it's a pretty big undercut. We'll see how it plays out, especially for the 14. Remember, he was in the top 10, so it's a big deal that he undercut the way he did. He might be near the 24 and 17, depending on how long these two end up running. But this battle not going anywhere. To 17, lighten up that rear bumper. The 24 driving on the right rear. Oh, there's a big hit there. 24, big wiggle out of the corner, and Cabot had to lift for him.
Yeah, boy, did he. And we talked earlier, it felt like they kept pushing the line to see what they could get away with without wrecking each other. That line keeps getting thinner and thinner here, Connor. At some point, someone's just going to go around, and I don't know if it's going to be entirely accidental the way these guys have been leaning on each other.
More pit stops. Matt Shinosky, AJ Stravado came down the pit that time by. A few others. I believe Chad Klinger's in there running in the 8th position. Carlisle as well. So more top 10 drivers came down the pit that time as Turner nearly hit the wall off of turn 2. They're weaving back and forth down the back straightaway.
Door to door again in 3. Turner, though, on the outside, he's just able to get the throttle down earlier than the 17 at this point with how burned up these tires are, and it's doing just enough to keep that spot.
And here's the big moment of the race. Dakota Floyd just pit from 3rd position, as did almost everyone behind him. Brewer, Hatchell, Shoemaker. This is going to make it a complicated decision because you got to cover those guys, make sure they don't get the clean air, but you got to get out in front of the driver you've been battling for 100 laps.
Or if nothing else, you got to get some separation from the driver you've been battling if you're Bailey Turner.
That's true.
Either one of these guys, it's tough to be the one that decide to come down pit road here because of how... Oh!
Hit him out of the corner that time. This is... I've never seen crazier racing between these two. This is as good as it gets right now, and we will see how this ends up playing out with those drivers kind of undercutting a little bit. All those drivers are coming out of their stalls while the battle for the lead stays side by side.
So Dakota Floyd just leaving pit road now. So he's about a lap and a half back, but obviously the 24 and the 17 going to be losing about that much time as well. As I think the 17, I thought he was thinking about coming down pit road that time. He had lost a little bit of room to the 24, but ultimately just a little bit of a bad entry there, I think, for the 17. And this battle continues. And I think the more they battle, the more it's going to cost them here at the end of the race.
Unfortunately, what cost Angelo Horonis was his pit entry. Completely missed pit entry. That will be a penalty, and that will drop him down the order, which is a shame because he was running top 10, doing a great job.
He was doing a great job. Is Cabot now back to the inside? Does he slide up in front of him? He does.
And the 24 is going to pit. That was perfect. I was thinking he might do that. The 17 finally gets to the inside long enough, and the 24 decides, all right, I had my fun. I'm going to get the fresher tires and get some distance between us. And that could be key to winning or losing this race. 24 beats the 17 the pit road again.
And we'll see if it's only the one lap. Got to imagine the 17 has to come down pit road this time. No way he's going to let the 24 get a multi-lap difference on him here. Is now Turner into the box. Looks like a clean entry. Right side's up. No issues there. As here comes the 17.
Stays out.
Yeah, stays out. I got to say, I'm a little surprised by that. It's going to give at least a full lap minimum on those fresher tires to the 24 without the 17 coming down pit road.
Chuck Sweeting ends up pitting. He was third. Things hadn't cycled out yet, obviously. But think about it. The 17 only had a lap fresher tires. He spent that entire run on the 24's back bumper, but couldn't quite make that pass. He's probably thinking he needs a bigger advantage to make that pass work, and that's what he's going for. He's going to go another lap.
So we're going to start running this thing long. Speaking of running it long, here's the 50 of Casey Lacados, who ran it one of the longest of that opening stint. He's on about 10 to 12 lap fresher tires than anyone else who hasn't come down pit road. And
we'll see if
he could really stretch this thing a good deal if he wanted the very short run at the end here.
Him, Michael Jones also went long. Even with that damage, Nathan Frada did the same. If things go their way, maybe get a yellow. Who knows what could possibly happen, as now Adam Kavitz decided this is the lap he's going to pit. Lap 106, race leader in on pit road.
So with that, Ray Massey going to assume control of the race here. It's the 17 making his stop. This will be very critical to see where he cycles out relative to Bailey Turner, but also Dakota Floyd, who pit well earlier than both of these guys, about 5 laps ago.
as well as Kenny Kibbe. Him and Floyd are actually battle side by side for position right now. That is the battle for effectively the race lead. They're currently cycling out to the race lead as Michael Jones pits right in front of the 24. The 24 is not too far behind. He'll catch them in a number of laps. He's only about 2 seconds behind. But this would be the battle. What would cycle out to be the race lead? As Cabot exits the pits, you'll have to make up a lot of time on the 24.
Yeah, and you can see the 24 is going to be coming around the screen here, right, I believe. Or actually, I think he just went by, yeah. Mistimed it ever so slightly, but yeah, so that is a huge gap here up to the 24 of Bailey Turner, who's in turn 3. And he is trying to chase down Dakota Floyd, who's a couple spots ahead of them. That's provisional race lead when this all cycles through. Right now, of course, Ray Massey, your race leader, but still has to come down pit road one more time before this one's said and done.
Michael Jones, I believe, already came back down the pit lane because he's still a lap down, but still waiting on about the top 7 drivers to pit from Ray Massey all the way up to Ben Lafter in the 64. Who's about, oh, big contact, big crash, run straight away. It's Vak Lavick and Caleb Wigley who are battling not for position. They're going to keep it straight, but that's going to kill the 13's race.
Vak Lavick is going to be not thrilled, I'm sure. Same with Wigley. We'll take a look here real quick on the replay.
Just about to note Brandon Wallace at pit. Vak Lavick yet the pit. And I think the speed difference is kind of what caught both of them out. They kind of just came together. Vak Lavick not as much grip on corner exit, and Wigley had more grip and just kind of drove in the back of him. But I think neither driver will probably be happy with one another.
Yeah, that's
7 was down the track as well.
Very tough situation there for both drivers. Going to cost them a lot of time.
Somehow did not bring out a yellow, as meanwhile the battle for what would cycle out to be the race lead is heating up. Dakota Floyd has pulled away, but the battle for what would be second is already over. Kibbe lets the 24 through, and it's now him trying to get past the 57 and put a bigger gap on the 17 before he eventually maybe catches up.
Yeah, the 17, obviously, on way fresher tires than both of these guys, going to be able to make some headway in this last stage. But, I mean, he's got a lot of racetrack to cover. You see, he's about half a straightaway back. But he is certainly closing as one of the fast cars on the racetrack last time by. Take a look here at the last lap times. Cabot a 31.0, Floyd and Turner a 31.3. So the 17 definitely on the move here.
Ben Lafter pits. He was one of those drivers he had to pit. Massey, Ritchie, Shepard, really the only 3 left on the racetrack at this point. We don't believe those 3 can really go as long as the other drivers like Lakatos, who had went long on the first stint. These 3 trying something a little bit different, hoping for maybe to get that yellow. They almost got it, but didn't quite get it.
And Turner has caught Dakota Floyd now into turn 3. He is there. I think it's going to be very critical for Turner to try to complete this pass quickly to get some distance on the 17. Dakota Floyd obviously going to try to do what he can to hold this spot.
Not much he can do. The 24 obviously been one of the fastest cars all day, and he's proven it right there with the fresher tires. He will cycle out to be the race leader. That could be the pass for the win. Floyd just couldn't do anything about it.
No, he couldn't. Just going to jump a little further back in the field here. This is a battle just outside the top 10. This is the 83 of Kyle Peacock trying to hold off a couple of cars, Sweeting and Stewart, both of which are on fresher tires than the 83. Peacock was one of the cars who kicked it off.
Sweeting got ran out of room there, and yeah, like you mentioned, the 83 was one of the earlier drivers who had pit, so he's going to be fading a little bit, playing a lot of defense at the end of this run. There's not much defense you can play at Nashville besides running the outside and trying to pinch, and he was very generous with the room he gave to Stewart and Sweeting, so he'll fall 2 positions. Stewart back up to 16th.
Take a look here. This is Philip Brewer trying to get to the back bumper of the 09. Chad Klinger holding on to this spot for now. They're also trying to work down Kenny Kilby here.
This is chase down the 14.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is just that part of the race where, you know, everyone is like, you've made your bet at this point. It's just a matter of how it all pans out and just hope that you made the right decision.
J.R. Shepard came down the pit. That leaves pretty much only Ray Massey on the racetrack as far as drivers who still need the pit one more time. Obviously, we know he can't make it the lap 150 as Justin Ritchie, J.R. Shepard. We see Shepard pit. Did not see Justin Ritchie pit yet, but he finally has. As Massey just letting drivers by, doing exactly what he can, just trying to play a different strategy, hoping something goes his way.
Yeah, at this point, he's just probably hoping for a yellow, which, in one universe tonight, I think there would have been about 3, but in the universe we currently live in, there has been none, as they've all been off the racing line. So he continues to plug away here. 11.5 seconds clear of Bailey Turner. And Turner, notably, still several seconds ahead of Adam Cabot.
I think Adam Cabot knew he had to try maybe something different to get by the 24. I just don't know if going that much longer is going to work, because look at the traffic he has to deal with compared to the 24. He only had to pass about 2 of those guys. He really had to only pass the 14 in the 57. Cabot's going to have to pass about 2 to 3 extra cars.
And these are all guys on the lead lap in the top 10 with speed, fighting for position. So might be a little bit trickier, as it looks like he's going to clear Hatchell here. This time around, the 8 gives him a little bit of room as the 17 goes on by. But this is not what you want to see right now if you're Adam Cabot. That is, in front of him is a block of cars all fighting for position. This is going to make figuring out what lane you want a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, Kibbe kind of holding these guys up. Klinger driving really hard out of the corner, got tight out of 2. That's going to give Cabot an advantage to get by that 09 at least for the time being, but Brewer's going to chop him, try to get to the inside of Kibbe himself, so he's going to still have dirty air to deal with in 3 and 4. 44 slid up the track, 3 wide for that 4th position. The 09 gets to be outside.
And the 14 trying to figure out where he needs to be right now with 3 cars.
Oh, contact! Big contact. The 09 slides. He's going to go almost hit the outside wall. There just wasn't enough cars for 3 wide. Cabot gets the spot with little damage, but Klinger will not be happy.
No, he won't, but what a phenomenal save here from the 09.
Just seemed like Cabot came up, pinched, not knowing they were 3 wide. Nathan Ferrata pits. Meanwhile, but no issue there. See, right here, 17 comes off the apron, comes up, and there's just not a lot of room given for that 3 wide.
Phenomenal job, only just barely glances the wall there.
And what that's got those drivers out of the way for Cabot just enough. He gets by Kenny Kibbe, and now he's got to get Dakota Floyd still. But there's also the 35 of Banks in between him and the 24. Not to mention still about 3 seconds worth of time that he's going to have to close down in 30 laps.
Yeah, we'll take a look here at the last lap time here. Adam Cabot that time by a 31.5. Bailey Turner a 31.7. So Cabot definitely the faster of the 2 of them, but notably, I mean, only 0.2 of a second. That's a tall order to be making up multiple seconds here. So it looks like Massey finally going to bring it down pit road here on lap 121.
And what that will do is cycle the lead officially back to Bailey Turner. So the 24 regains the race lead. He has about a 1.4 second lead over the 57 Dakota Floyd. And then it's another 1.5 seconds to what will be 3rd place Adam Cabot. But the battle's now behind Cabot, as those drivers are on pretty similar tire strategies behind him. Kibbe's starting to fade. Philip Brewer has gotten by him. Seth Hatchell, he's the next one up trying to get the position away from the 14. Sun falls back onto the track once again. It's kind of been fluctuating back and forth. It's actually still pretty low compared to what we started at, 104 degrees, the track temp, but the sun is back out. Might heat up just a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's the thing, especially when you have rolling cloud cover, it does change how this racetrack handles in the shade versus in the sun. And honestly, with the amount of laps these guys have gotten in the shade, this might actually play into the driver's hands a little bit, getting a little bit of fresh sunshine back on the racetrack here for the last 20-odd some laps.
This is really the furthest away the 24 and 17 have been. Maybe they get bumper to bumper again. We'll have to wait and see, but currently a few other battles going on. Actually, one of them was right there. Jarrett Shepard got by Brandon Wallace for 25th position. A little further back, Rob Hamp battling to the outside of Chuck Sweeting. This is for the 10th position with Stravato. Once again, what a climb for this 33 car with undercuts on both pit stops, really trying to cling to a top 10 if possible.
Yeah, he continues to try to dig for position here. If he's able to rally a top 10 finishing position out of today, that'd be pretty incredible given that there's been no cautions on the racetrack here, and he's just had to grind his way through the field after having to start at the tail end of it. Up to 10th now. Says started 13th, but, I mean, really, he started 32nd here today.
Yeah, he has climbed, and he didn't even just start at the very back. He started multiple seconds behind the back of the pack. So to be able to climb this high is pretty impressive with undercutting both pit stops, which means he's not really had fresher tires than anyone all race. And you're seeing that right now because Hamp and Sweeting are hounding him a few tenths faster here and there. A little bit of contact between the 75 and 18 as they both try to work around Stravato.
Yeah, they're trying. They're not finding a ton of success here yet. But door to door they are. That's for 11th as they almost come together. The 75 trying to catch it.
Saved it. Wow, that was a tight moment. Vaklavic's going to get by. Here comes Eldon Stort, who's going to try to get a position away. But that could have been catastrophic.
That could have been really bad. It also really could have changed the complexion of this race with a late caution as Hamp almost sideways. Holy moly, everyone's losing the handle on the race car here now that the sun's come back out.
You could bet Rob Hamp's trying to drive the wheels off it. He has a top 5 this season, but he's still back 30th in points, so he wants to get another top 10 on the season. He sees it right in front of him.
Yeah, boy, does he. And he is putting everything he can to that race car right now. Easier said than done, but boy, is he wheeling that thing with just over 20 to go.
Meanwhile, battle for seconds heated up. Dakota Floyd has been caught by Adam Cabot for that spot. The last domino to fall, last car in between the 24 and 17 is that 57, but he's got to get this pass done quick if he wants any shot to get back to his teammate, the 24. Deep dive into turn number 1, tries to run him out of room, and he has the grip to do so. 17 back to second position, and now it's about a 2-second gap to try to catch Bailey Turner.
You can see Bailey Turner, the next car on the racetrack here. A lot of real estate he's got to make up here, but with no one in front of him, could be a lot easier. Let's take a look here at the last lap time as they come across the stripe. Bailey Turner that time by a 32.07 for Cabot, a 31.85. And that was with a little bit of traffic fighting with Floyd. You know, he is a bit quicker right now. It's not an incredible amount, but if he keeps up that rate, he should be able to catch the 24 with a couple laps to go, I believe.
We'll have to wait and see. That battle might get hot near the end of this race. The battle for 12th is still pretty hot. Eldon Stort, since we last saw Stort and Sweeting, they've been side by side the entire time. They just kind of muscled Broderick Vaklavic out of the way, who was a lap down in between them. As now, as I say that, they single file out. All three of these drivers, I believe, with fresher tires in the 33, but neither can find a way by.
Yeah, they're all kind of stacked up right now, and, I mean, you can see the 18 is sliding all over the place. Hamp is trying to wheel that thing and to a moderate amount of success. I mean, he's holding on to 11th, but that car is moving as much left to right as it is forwards right now. It's now Sweeting trying to go all the way up. And he turned
crash! Hamp into the wall, 75 into the wall, and that will not be a caution. There was no caution thrown for that. Hamp will crash out. Elliot Butler's in the grass. I cannot believe there wasn't a caution for that. Hamp completely out of it now, and he did not get the caution. I can't believe that.
Holy moly, I genuinely am floored with what happened there. How does that even... All right, well, we'll try to take a look at here at the replay. But holy moly, let's
it is automatic yellows.
Yeah.
And I do believe they keep the yellow should be on. Hamp, it's so unfortunate for Hamp. He was having such a great run trying to get a top 10. He will exit this race. I cannot believe that was not a caution. So we'll try to find a reason why. I don't know what the reason is. It just wasn't a yellow.
See if I can go back further enough here.
That was the most volatile battle on the track, and not surprising it ended like that. So unfortunate for Hamp.
Here.
Into turn 3.
Yeah,
Sweeting a little bit. Yep.
Oh, yeah, here it is.
Sweeting gets to run to the outside. Hamp tries to run him out of room and just not clear to the outside. And the only thing I could think of is that I guess the 18 wasn't on the racing service, but he was. But Dry Racing's reasoning, I guess he wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. I cannot believe it's not a yellow. It's a shame for Hamp. It is a shame for Chuck Sweeting as well because he did get a great deal of damage. That's probably going to drop him a little further down the order possibly. Although saying that, it's not horrible damage compared to what I thought it would be. He is up to 11th now. He has some room on Eldon Stort. Eldon Stort actually got even worse damage than that 75 did, I think. Not to mention Elliot Butler had to go through the grass. He lost a few positions in the process as well, but somehow through that, no yellow.
That one in particular to me, I am floored wasn't a yellow, but iRacing moves in mysterious ways, folks, and sometimes it is beyond my realm of comprehension what they have deemed to be yellow or not. But, you know, we continue to watch some of these battles unfold on the racetrack here as we continue to stay green. But right now, Seth Hatchell and that is Kenny Kibbe battling for 5th here. That's a top 5 spot on the line. And for Kibbe, it's been a huge day moving forward, up from 23rd now to 5th, trying to hold on to a top 5.
And he did a lot of that moving up with the undercut for this run. He pit on lap 95. He came down to pit lane. His tire is much older than almost everyone else in the field at this point, but he's done a great job holding off the 8. Hatchell's been hounding him the past 5-10 laps, just cannot find a way by. It's brought Shoemaker, Klinger, Carlisle all into this battle right now.
Yeah, they continue to be having a fantastic duel here. They're not the only ones. Looks like Peacock and Lakatos also having a good battle here for 13th. Looks like Elliott Butler trying to rally his way back into this as well.
And not talked about Kyle Peacock much tonight. He started 18th, and he's kind of just hung around and solidly looking for a top 15 result. And I think he would take that for sure. He's another one. He's made limited starts. He's only made 3 starts really all season in the Saturday Night Racing League. I'm just trying to look at what exactly those finishes were. It's nothing better than 16th where he finished at Iowa, and since then no top 20s in those other 2 starts, so this would be a huge improvement for him. I think he would take it as he clears the 50 car. Joshua Banks not for position, just trying to hope for multiple yellows, try to get back into this race. They have not come in time, really, and that non-yellow that happened, it was actually probably good news for Turner, bad news for Cabot, because Cabot just not closing that gap enough to really have a chance to get to the 24.
No, he really has. And, you know, one more note about Banks. This guy's had a lot of pace here tonight, but that pit stop trouble on the first stop, he's not really been able to unearth himself from because there's been no yellow. So he's just kind of had to sit in that situation ever since. But to your point, Adam Cabot, the gap now 1.3, but it's not ticking off as fast as you would think. Last time around, it was only about a 10th faster for Cabot than for Turner. And with only 12 laps to go, I mean, if he keeps up that rate, he won't get there in time.
While the battle for 5th is getting spicy, I believe Kenny Kibbe just got the bumper from Seth Hatchell. It is stacked up for this top 5 position. You have about 4 drivers that want it, but only 1 can get it. And here comes Shoemaker, got the run to be outside of Hatchell because of that bump.
Yeah, this is going to get interesting if this is looking particularly volatile as they're all squeezing together. Kibbe holds on to the spot, but, man, they are running out of racetrack to keep this battle going.
And quite literally running out of time as we're going to look almost 3 wide. The 54 almost booted the 14. 2 by 2 behind the 14 car. Carlisle and Klinger side by side. Ed Robertson joining the fun just for the heck of it. He's 25th in the lap down, but he wants to be a part of some fun as now the 14 gets some breathing room.
Yeah, a little bit here, and that's because Hatchell and Shoemaker door-to-door just behind them, starting to fall back a touch from the 14. It's holding up the 09 of Klinger as well. There's a little bit of wall contact there with the 54. That's not going to pay him any mind, though, as he continues to make that pass with clear Hatchell. And now the 09 trying to work the outside.
Working the outside, got clean air. 54 kind of tight out of the corner. 09 got a run, but nowhere to go with it because he's blocked in on the inside as we cross 10 laps of racing to go. The gap of a lead still 1.1 seconds. Cabot running out of time, not quite catching him in time to get there. So this is really the best battle on the racetrack, which is now really for 6th as the 14 rockets away.
Yeah, the 14, I tell you what, despite being on a little bit of older tires than the rest of these guys, really starting to pull away just a little bit while they've been battling. Of course, as I say that, here comes the 54 Shoemaker looking to make something happen. It's contact with Hatchell.
Klinger got a little sideways, came down to Hatchell a little bit. They keep it straight, but that'll cost Chad Klinger the 8th position to Carlisle.
That's going to cost the 09 big time. Still in the top 10 here. But this is, this is 5th through 9th all battling each other. Now here comes the 54 looking for that top 5 spot.
He's about the 3rd driver to try to get to the inside of Kenny Kibbe as they'll come up on Ferrata in just a moment, who's been slow the past few laps. Not sure why he's been off pace, but he'll get out of the way of that battle as they stay side by side. Bryce Shoemaker could not quite clear the 14, and here comes the 8, here comes the 71, all back into the battle. Trying to clear up, trying to push him into the marbles, can't quite do it. Kibbe fights back around the 2nd lane.
Man, And just fantastic stuff here. Does the 54 clear him here? Had a nose ahead, not enough to come all the way up the racetrack, though, so they stay side by side. It's going to let Hatchell pull his way back into the same with Carlisle.
And you got this gaggle of cars. You have another gaggle of cars for the 13th spot with Peacock and Lakatos. Also Eldon Stewart, who's kind of faded into the clutches of that 83 and 50. Put Ray Massey in the battle. Remember, he has fresher tires than all these drivers, so this is not working out too badly for him.
Yeah, he's starting to find some speed here late because he pit so late.
Oh, Peacock out of the groove.
Oh, and he got a piece of the wall there, slowed up big time. 2 cars go by. Ortega trying to make it 3.
Gap of the lead still coming down, just not quite enough. It's 0.8 of a second, and he is running out of time. There's only J.R. Shepard in between them that could be playing a pivotal role, but Cabot just running out of time as the more important, not the more important battles, but the more volatile battles are still out in behind as Shepard does give way. Now no cars in between the top 2 with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, he continues to just get a little bit closer each time by, once again, another 10th faster. But again, he just doesn't have the time to be going 10th for 10th. He's 7 tenths back with only 5 laps to go here. I know what Cabot was trying to do, get off cycle, get a little bit of a run, but I think those couple laps where he was on older tires and Turner was on new may have just killed his chance at winning this race tonight.
Turner leads, 4 to go this time by. Cabot second, Dakota Floyd 4 seconds back, all alone in third. Brewer all alone in fourth, and then that battle for fifth between 4 cars still very tight. AJ Travado is pulled away for 10th. Then it's Sweeting, Massey, and then Eldon Stewart holding up a line of his own, including Lakatos, Peacock, Ritchie, Ortega, Butler, Kost, Shinosky, the top 20, and then Belke and Tim Shinosky, the last drivers on the lead lap. 22 lead lap drivers, 3 laps to go next time by. Bailey Turner looking pretty darn good right now.
Yeah, it certainly is. As the laps continue to tick away, that gap not coming down anymore than 6 tenths back to Cabot. More battling continuing here in the back half of the top 10. They just cannot get this thing sorted out as Carlisle got by Hatchell a moment ago. We're coming down to, we're at 3 to go, soon to be 2 to go here. And just, the strategy call here for Cabot, it just hasn't worked out, I think, the way he was anticipating it to. He's been faster every lap, just not by enough on any of these laps.
If it was 5-10 laps more, maybe he would get there, but it just doesn't seem like he has the pace to get there. 2 laps to go, 2.67 miles left here at the Nashville Super Speedway as the 17 tries anything possible to get there, but just running out of time. Oh, Kibbe into the wall. Shoemaker hit it as well. They keep it straight, but that might cost the 54 a spot in the background as Cabot closes in a little bit more.
And the 14 holding on to 5th for now, but it is still very much up for the bait. Is Carlisle now going to maybe make a pass here on Shoemaker for the 6th spot?
And Turner probably knows they're battling hard in behind. This is the first flag he wants to see, and he's going to get it. White flag's out one more time around Nashville. Bailey Turner wanted that white flag, and he got it, and now he has half a second in between him and Cabot for the race victory as he comes out of turn 2 for the final time.
Yeah, that gap holding firm at about 4 tenths. 17 doing what he can, but it's not going to be enough here through the final set of corners.
17 stuffed it into 3. It will not be enough. He hasn't won since Martinsville at the end of March, and his first win first win at Nashville, I should say. It's Bailey Turner getting his 3rd win of the season. He does it in Nashville. Cabot's second.
We were treated to an absolute delight between these guys.
Oh, what a race. They crashed across the line for that 5th spot. Bryce Shoemaker ends up backwards past the start-finish line. He crossed the line unofficially 6th. As here comes the rest of the field full speed at him. He does reset. He gets out of the way. He still got 6th. But what a job by Bailey Turner. He drove his heart out, and the strategy to undercut ended up being the difference.
Going to bring it here to the start-finish line, and I'm sure we're going to burn it down. Hard-earned victory tonight for that driver right there.
He led 64 laps, but almost none of them were easy, with the 17 hounding him for really the majority of that. And he deserves to burn it down after that. What a job. 3rd win of the season for him. his 16th career victory in Saturday Night Racing League, extending the second all-time mark, inching one closer to Jeff Wright with 26, inching away from Cabot with 7. And I'm sure he's earned some bragging rights over his friend for a little while for sure.
Absolutely. No way he doesn't after a battle like that. I mean, they were going full tilt basically anytime they were near each other. And I think the only reason we didn't get some fireworks at the finish there is just because Cabot was just a touch too far back to really make that happen.
Cabot did not quite play the right strategy. The 24 definitely did play the right strategy, and Dakota Floyd just maybe best in class tonight, but we'll get to hear from all three of them right after the break. You'll have interviews with your top three, and we'll wrap things up, go over the race results as well on top of that. It's been a great one, but we still have a little bit of work to do here in Nashville for Saturday Night Racing League. Stick around. We'll be right back. Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
It's too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time. Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
GC Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Introducing Tractor USA, the best way to buy and sell premium ag and construction equipment. Tractor USA was designed to be straightforward, simple, and affordable with zero commission and live auctions every week. Tractor USA auctions offer the finest selection of pre-owned tractors, combines, and other ag and construction equipment from across the United States and the world. Simply go to tractorusa.com to get started today.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Been a lot of green flag running the past few weeks. Only one yellow in Charlotte and fully green in Nashville Super Speedway. Not without incident, but we did have no caution flags tonight. What a race we were treated to, especially between the top two finishers, Bailey Turner and Adam Cabot. Crazy battle in the mid portion of the race. Bailey Turner with the undercut. It beat the overcut and the fresher tires for Adam Cabot by just half a second. but that ended up being the difference. Pit strategy kind of dictated what could have been a volatile and crazy wild finish. Bailey Turner gets through unscathed. He wins his third of the season. Adam Cabot has to settle for second place. Dakota Floyd, we kind of joked about it, best in class, maybe a little bit. Third place for him tonight from 14th. Great finish for him. We'll talk to those three right after we get through the race results, because more drivers finished than just those three. Philip Brewer, a solid top 5 run all night. He ended up in the 4th position. Kenny Kibbe, all the way from 23rd to 5th, plus 18, maybe the biggest mover of the race, would get that Clark Print Shop Biggest Mover Award if that's the case. Great run for him. Bryce Shoemaker spun across the line. 6th position for him. Great run for him. I believe his best run of the season, if I'm not mistaken. 7th position for Ryan Carwell, a solid top 10 run for him all night. Seth Hatchell kind of ran a little bit better than that. He was more so in the top 5 majority of this race, just lost out at the end there, but he still ends up 8th. Chad Klinger with that slide, he saved it, ends up 9th. And AJ Stravado, if his starting position said 32nd, he would be the biggest mover. To go from dead last, multiple seconds behind the second to last car, to 10th, an incredible run for him.
Yeah, stellar stuff for the 33. Looking back here, Ray Massey, that long cut at the end of this thing brought him back to 11th after waiting as long as he could to pit. Sweeting will finish 12th, just ahead of Stewart. Justin Ritchie finishing 14th, with Lakatos finishing in the 15th position here tonight. Elliott Butler will be 16th, just ahead of Max Cost. Kyle Peacock finishing 18th here tonight over Shinosky, and Reggie Ortega will round out the top 20.
This is a race last season that came down to fuel mileage, and Austin Belke ended up top 3 last season at this racetrack. Did not come down to fuel mileage today, but still a solid run for Belke in 21st. Second to last driver on the lead lap. That went to Tim Shinosky in 22nd. Decent run for him as well. J.R. Shepard, what could have been one of those incidents that didn't bring out a yellow with him, Banks, and an Nathan Ferrada. 23rd for him. He will not be happy about that. Caleb Weekly, 24th. He had some issues himself. Brandon Wallace, 25th. Ben Lafter, 26th. Broderick Vaclavic, 27th. Joshua Banks, another one that we'll be thinking what could have been. He might have been the 3rd best car, and who knows, if he did not speed, he could have caught those two and battled for the lead himself, but he sped on the first round of pit stops. He never got the yellow he needed. He ends up 28th, which will hurt him in the points. Michael Jones, 29th, and Angel Horonis, another one with a penalty on pit road. Cost him maybe a top 10 race. He ends up 30th.
And last couple cars in the field here tonight. Ferrada was pretty fast up front, but that early damage really set him back and was never able to recover from, and he'll be 31st. Hamp will finish 32nd tonight after his crazy spin that didn't end up as a yellow. And then Wright and Shoemaker did not take the field here tonight, so they are scored 33rd and 34th, but they were more a do not start than a finish 153 laps down. But with that, Connor, I believe it's time for us to have a quick conversation with our race winner.
Yeah, quick conversation with Bailey Turner, and a number of things that Bailey Turner can kind of check off his list. He won a race at Nashville. He gets his 3rd win of the season. He gets bragging rights over Adam Cabot because he beat him straight up, among other things. And not only that, unofficially, Bailey Turner becomes the points leader, getting past AJ Stravado after tonight unofficially. But Bailey, what a run for you. Crazy race between you and the 17. Obviously, it kind of came down to you and him near the end, and it kind of came down to pit strategy. Just take us through that decision to beat him to pit lane.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a tough race all around. I felt like we were really struggling with rear grip when Adam was right underneath the rear bumper the whole time, especially that second run. But, you know, it's just clean air was so important. I mean, most people know Nashville is just terrible as far as trying to pass. And, you know, he made my life hell the first run, so had to repay the favor. And, you know, we were punting each other out of the way, trying to move each other. And, you know, luckily, I think we both know we wouldn't try to wreck each other, but we're going to do everything we can to get the lead and get clean air and try to drive away. And, yeah, just that last run, I knew if I could short pit him and get some distance on him, I wouldn't have him jacking up my rear end the entire run, and I could actually manage my tires, because the run prior to that, I was just hanging on for dear life as he would get closer and closer to the back end, just doing the aero grief thing. So, yeah, man, it's been a while since I've been up here talking to you boys. You know, we talk about going to the points lead. Well, you know, unfortunately, we've had multiple races ruined, the pit strategies and cautions coming out in the middle of races, and yeah, I kind of missed the sound of your voice, Connor.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'd never had someone say that to me, I don't think. I know Adam certainly hasn't said that for me for a while, but definitely a fun race to watch between. And you talked about how you and Adam, you're not going to wreck each other, at least not on purpose. You know how to step on that line, not cross it. Both of you do. And that was obviously a great battle between you two. So, how much confidence does it build for you, knowing how obviously skilled Adam is behind the wheel in the sim? How much does it boost your confidence to be able to beat him straight up like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody knows Adam is, definitely one of the best here, and we're so competitive with each other. Good friends the last handful of years, and like you said, getting the bragging rights, beating him straight up. He usually gets me a little more than I ever get him. We're battling for a championship over there in BTDY, and hopefully I'll wreck him on Tuesday night, and we'll get that championship. But no, it's always great battling him and guys like him and Jeff and Josh, AJ. I mean, Angelo, all these guys. Um, they make it tough. I think the last handful of weeks we've been right there on the cusp. But like you said, clean air is just so important. And oftentimes, unfortunately, I'm the Chase Elliott of qualifying, and can't put together a good lap there. But then we always have good race pace, and so if we can just figure out like we did tonight, getting a good lap down, figure that out the rest of the season, I think I like our chances.
I remember earlier in the season, you probably weren't the most confident driver with this O'Reilly car. A little bit of an aero update came into it, kind of changed things at least a little bit. Cleaner obviously still matters a lot, but all of a sudden, you're one of the hotter drivers in the series. Obviously, the points leader. I believe you have the most top fives in the series, as well as tied for second for most wins. So, as far as this car and maybe running for the championship, get your second in this series. Where's that confidence at as far as that goes now?
Yeah, like I said, the only time I ever run this car is on Saturday nights, so that's my experience. Try to get a little bit of practice in when I can, but really, the sim is for me is just something to have fun with. So, if I wanted to sweat it out and get better at this car, I'm sure I could. But we're right where we need to be. I don't think we have the Jeff Wright outright pace every single week, but when you're putting together good weeks and sometimes unlucky things happen to other people, you get the points lead. So. Hopefully I don't have any of those unlucky weeks, and we can just keep putting together these top fives, like you said, and put ourselves in a good position for the chase. I think, I think this league right now is probably the most competitive it's ever been. So it's going to take a lot from all of us to pull one out.
Well, on your 82nd start, you get win number 16 in the series, only trailing that 40 that you'll have to go to battle with for the title later in the season. But thanks for talking to us, Bailey. Another great victory for you. And anyone you want to shout out that was or was not on your car, because unfortunately, you're one of the cars we did not get your scheme loaded in because trading paints was not working tonight.
Yeah, shout out Celsius. Shout out admins, everybody putting this together every week. You guys up in the booth, all the league sponsors that support this and make this a fun thing to come out and do Saturday nights. Adam, Angelo, Josh, AJ, all those guys. And oh yeah, I didn't get to say this last week. I was hoping I'd get an interview, but yeah, just thoughts and prayers to the Rowdy Bush family. I mean, that's so sad, and thoughts and prayers with them.
Definitely hung it out like Rowdy a lot of times with the 17 on your bumper for sure. But thanks for talking to us, Bailey. New points leader in the clubhouse. We'll see you maybe next week.
Appreciate it.
Third win on the season for Bailey Turner. And it wasn't easy. I mean, we knew that, Alex. It was not easy for him. He had Adam Cabot all over him until that very final run where Cabot played strategy. A little bit different. Didn't work out for him. And you've got Adam down on virtual pit road.
Yeah.
Hey there, Adam. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
I tell you what, you and Bailey Turner tonight put on one heck of a show. Feels like anytime we had a chance to watch y'all, next to each other, there was always a little bit of bumping, a little bit of moving around. Always respectful, but definitely physical between the two of you here tonight. And it came down to some fantastic stuff on the racetrack, but ultimately it seems like pit strategy may have just put you behind the eight ball a little bit on that last run. What did you see from your end?
Yeah, no, that's a pretty accurate, pretty accurate summary of the race. So, second fuel run, first fuel run, I had clean air, felt great. I was just trying to wrap the bottom and not let Bailey get by me, and that worked out pretty well. And then I pitted a lap after him. We were kind of dueling it out in traffic, and I got past him, and then he got back past me in traffic, which I didn't think was that big of a deal at the time, but I guess that ended up kind of being the race-winning move because the entire second fuel run, like literally the entire fuel run, you saw it. I was like doing everything. I told him, so we're in the same Discord. I'm like, I'm I've done every single thing I could possibly think of to try to pass you, except for just flat out wreck you. And yeah, I mean it was fun. It was a really hard fought battle for sure, but it was just crazy. I mean, obviously he did a really good job, did everything he needed to do, but it just seemed like it was basically impossible to get by him because had him, jacked up, arrow loose for 50 straight laps, which I'm not sure how his rear tires didn't just completely melt. But like, I can get to him, I could get under him, but in this car you just get so unbelievably tight. I'm still trying to get used to it because I'm not used to this car. I've only run a handful of races this season, and like it just gets so unbelievably tight when you're underneath someone. So you either drive in and go really slow, or you push a little bit harder and then you slide up into the car above you. So you can't do the high side here either. Like I kept trying that, but for whatever reason, at least in this car, probably in other cars too, like you just can't really, if you're outside of someone, you can defend, but like to actually make speed on the top side or get to someone's outside, almost impossible. So yeah, I threw everything I had at him for sure. And then I clearly, I guess, just pit way too late for the last run. My thought was, okay, he just pit. I don't want to pit a lap later like I did last time because I wanted more of a tire delta because I figured I would just get stuck behind him again. But I guess I just waited too many laps. I'm still trying to figure out. My brain's still in next gen mode as to strategy and tires and what the cars want. And I think I just waited like maybe 2 laps too late, or maybe even just 1 lap too late for that last stop because I just ran out of time at the end, and the car also just got super super tight the last run, which I wasn't really expecting, and there was only so much I could do with brake bias. You're kind of limited in this car with how much you can adjust it. So I just got really tight, ran out of time, and yeah, that was that. I'm annoyed because I definitely felt like this was my best run in this car. I think it's been a few years at this point, a few seasons since I've won this league, and I thought tonight was going to be the night, but just did not play out at the end.
It certainly felt like for a while there tonight was going to be the night for you. I mean, and to what you were saying, we also remarked up here in the booth that it felt like you were doing basically everything you could to the 24, short of putting them in the fence. I know that was not a thought that was ever going to cross your mind, but after the 10th different thing you try that almost work and then doesn't, do you have that thought a little bit in the back of your mind, like if I just hit him a little bit harder next time, maybe he'll move a little bit further out of the way.
See, here's the problem. Bailey already thinks that he owes me 1 or 2 or 3 from past incidents, so I just was like, I couldn't stomach wrecking him again. I just, especially since we have a championship head-to-head on Tuesday in BTDY, I'm like, accidental. Not that I would purposely wreck him, but I'm like, if I push it a little bit too hard and wreck him, 1, we'll never hear the end of it from him, and 2, probably not the wisest thing to do when you're racing someone for a championship. So
100%.
no, we've raced against each other for years as teammates and good friends, and we always just kind of dick around in practice racing like that, but when we were first and second on the track, like we were able to race really close and usually have it pan out. But the problem is, I think we know all of each other's moves, so like you said, I tried everything I could think of loosening him up, getting under him, passing him into 3, into 1, throwing a slide job at one point that didn't work out, going hot. Like I did literally everything I could think of. So props to him. He ran a really good race, was really quick tonight, and he got the dub. So we'll have to try again another week.
All right. Well, Adam, before we let you go, is there anyone you want to shout out on a fireworks-filled runner-up finish here tonight?
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to Bailey so he doesn't wreck me next week.
Well, fair enough. Adam, thank you so much for dropping by. Congrats on the runner-up finish here tonight, and hopefully we'll get to catch you here soon in SNR.
Thanks. Have a good one.
And that is your second place finisher here tonight, Adam Cabot in the number 17 machine. Put it all on the line and just came up 1 spot short there, Connor.
Yeah, definitely came up 1 spot short, but still a great run. Really, I think if he kind of just reacted to the 24 like he did the first run, I think he has a shot of getting by him because he probably does hit the 24 a little bit harder if he gets there to do so, for sure. But either way, still a great run for him, but a great run for the guy that we're about to talk to as well. He came all the way from the 14th position, and that would be the 57 of Dakota Floyd, who now finds himself a little bit further up in points, a little bit closer, a little further away from that cut line in the top 14, I should say. Plus 31 unofficially. Dakota didn't get the qualifying effort you probably wanted, but a great run through the field and a fully green race. Kind of let you flex your muscle on the long run. And you had just a really solid drive up there. Take us through how that went for you for your race.
Yeah, it's nice to finally put it on the podium after I felt like I could have had a lot of good finishes this season. The flag to flag certainly helps. I was really worried about qualifying 14th because of how the dirty air runs at this track and how one lane it can really get. So I think at that point I was just kind of picking my spots, kind of let people drive up a little bit, burn their stuff off real bad. It actually worked for a good majority of that first fuel run. And then the overcut on the first pit stop really helped me get around a lot of guys, and then I just matched them on the last pit stop and was able to maintain that spot in clean air.
Your second top 5 of the season, but your first one since the end of March in Martinsville when you got 5th position. It's your second top 10 since then, so haven't been the finishes you probably want, but this one's definitely got to help that out. Obviously helps you in the points as far as that chase cut line, and after tonight, only 4 races to go before we set the top 14, and you're pretty close to that cut line. How confident are you that you can kind of get further away from that cut line and solidify your spot?
I think I'm pretty confident, especially with some of the tracks that are coming up, because I think we got Atlanta road course and a short track and an intermediate somewhere. But I feel pretty good. I feel like I'm really good at the racetracks that are coming up. So as long as I don't get wrecked or caught into some nonsense, I think I can confidently make my way into the chase.
And you're one of those drivers who kind of came up through the Challenger Series. Not every driver in the series obviously came up, ran that series. You're one who kind of started out in that series, got a lot better, started running more cup races, and has just really flourished into a great driver. How much of that, your improvement as a driver, do you credit to being in that series and just having somewhere to kind of learn and not have too much stress?
I definitely think it was a lot of it, especially because there are even some guys in the Challenger Series that have really good pace. I mean, you can see cars like Philip Brewer, who, I mean, he's been putting on pole, qualifying really well, running really well. I mean, like running against cars in the Challenger Series like that, it certainly helps perfect your racecraft and gets you a lot more confident in the cars. So I think it definitely did a lot to help shape me into the driver I am now.
In shape, doing a darn good long run driver as well. Using it to your advantage, a top 3, your first top 3 of the season. Hopefully many more to come in the next few weeks. We run the season all the way to August, but great run for you, Dakota. Thanks for talking to us. Anyone else you want to shout out?
Yeah, I just want to shout out the team first and foremost. Richie was able to claw back to the top 15. I know Ben got caught into some nonsense early on. I hate to see that for him there. But overall, it's just really good to race with those guys. Shout out to SNR. They've given me a really great home to race at. I've been with these guys for quite a while, but this is only my second full-time Cup season. But I just can't thank those guys enough for everything they do to keep such a thriving league together. It's not an easy thing to do. So thanks to you guys in VSPEED for putting on these awesome broadcasts. Love going back and watch them all the time. And thank you to all the sponsors and everyone that supports me, especially my girlfriend.
Dakota Floyd, his first top 3 finish since the season finale last season in the Gen 4 race at Atlanta. And we got Atlanta next week. Maybe you could replicate it. We'll have to wait and see. But thanks for talking to us, Dakota. Good run, and maybe we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful night.
You too. Well, that is our last interview. That's our top 3 finishers all interviewed right there. Everyone's seemingly pretty happy with where they ended up. And what a race this was, Alex. I mean, that was awesome.
It was stellar from the first lap to the last. There was a little bit of everything. Fantastic battling up front. Some crazy chaos through the middle of the field. Surprisingly, no yellows, but, take them where you get them. Help keep things moving here tonight. And ultimately, fuel strategy. Pit strategy is what ultimately determined, I think, the winner here tonight. And Bailey Turner could not have asked for a better race from the 24. I mean, to start to finish, put together a textbook run here at Nashville.
It's kind of funny. Dakota Floyd mentioned the overcut worked well for him, and meanwhile, it was the undercut that won the race. It all depends on where you were on track and where the clean air was and where it was, and I think that played a big factor. But what played a big factor was you, Alex. I don't know the first thing about producing. I wish to do it if I had a better PC, but you did the dirty work tonight, just like Bradley does every week, and I can't thank you enough for hopping on.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. It's always fun to fill in with SNR. And, if there's any technical issues that y'all wanted to let VSPEED know about and said, hey, I don't think this looked right, you can direct that to Bradley Cooper.
We direct a lot of our questions to Bradley Cooper. I'm sure you will love that for sure. But that's pretty much all we got for tonight. Next week, we go to Atlanta for the second time this season, but it won't be the drafting racetrack. We'll be back to the old pavement from all the way back in 2008. The first time, I believe, in a single season of SNR, we've gone technically to the same track twice, although in a different format. A traditional 1.5 mile, we'll see drivers ripping the outside wall. We'll see drivers all the way down to the bottom, and tires will be at a premium next week as we get 4 races to go before we determine our top 14 drivers into the chase. We'll be live 10 o'clock next week, Saturday, same time as always. I believe Bradley will be back. I wouldn't mind if Alex was back, but Bradley runs this show each and every week, and we're just thankful all you guys tuned in. That's it for us tonight. 4 races to go. We have another race next week. For Alex Gagnon, I'm Connor Horn. Thankful for Bradley Cooper, Adam Baker, everyone who works on VSPEED to put these races, put these broadcasts on. Cannot thank them enough for just having me on. I'm Connor Horn. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good night. And as Bradley always says, stay tracking, and congratulations to Bailey Turner.